I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Thailand and Cambodia want Malaysia to continue role as peace facilitator. And much-awaited gig workers bill to be tabled in Dewan Rakyat next week. Good morning. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim on Thursday visited Russia's Central Scientific Research Automobile and Automotive Engines Institute, NAMI, in Moscow as part of his 6-day state visit to the country. Upon arrival, His Majesty was received by NAMI Chief Executive Officer Fyodor Nazarov. The King was then given a special briefing and shown a video presentation on the leading scientific and engineering institute, which was established in 1918 as Russia's first automobile research laboratory. The facility is also equipped with test tracks and a special zone for autonomous vehicles. Sultan Ibrahim later toured NAMI's showroom and assembly plant with Russian Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Albert Karimov. His Majesty is scheduled to continue his visit to Kazan, the capital of the Republic of Tatarstan, on Friday. Malaysia will continue to play a coordinating role in peace talks between Thailand and Cambodia aimed at resolving their long-standing border dispute. Prime Minister Datuk Sultan Ibrahim said even while the ceasefire agreement has been fully observed thus far, both countries have expressed their wish for Malaysia to remain as facilitator. Earlier on Thursday, the Prime Minister received a courtesy call from Cambodian Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister General Tia Seha, along with Thailand's Acting Defence Minister General Natapon Nakpanit at the Perdana Putra complex in Putrajaya. The closed-door meeting was also attended by Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, Deputy Defence Minister Adli Zahari and Chief of Defence Forces General Tan Sri Muhammad Nizam Jaafar. Speaking to reporters at the 2026 budget engagement session after the meeting, Anwar confirmed that both nations are committed to upholding the terms of the ceasefire deal.
Alhamdulillah, sekurang-kurangnya setakat ini mereka mahu Malaysia teruskan menyelaras. Mereka beri komitmen untuk mematuhi syarat-syarat menjamin gencatan senjata itu diamalkan sepenuhnya. Dan untuk itu kita akan terus ambil peranan. Hari ini ada 1-2 isu kecil. Mudah-mudahan dapat diselesaikan.
The Prime Minister also clarified that neither China nor the United States is directly involved in monitoring the disputed border areas.
Dan negara China dan Amerika tidak terlibat dari segi pengawasan sempadan. Mereka hanya menawarkan kerjasama dan bantuan logistik sekiranya perlu, dan tentunya kita sebut perlu. Tetapi ini akan jadi urusan kedua-dua negara, diselaraskan oleh Malaysia dan diberi kerjasama penuh oleh ASEAN.
Elsewhere in Kuala Lumpur, the Extraordinary General Border Committee or GBC meeting between Thailand and Cambodia held at Wisma Perwira concluded with both sides reaffirming their commitment to strictly observe the ceasefire along their shared border, covering all forms of attacks and weaponry. The agreement was formalized with the signing of the arrangement on the mechanism for the implementation of the ceasefire by Tia Seha and Natapon following the GBC meeting. Malaysia, as the facilitator, was represented by the Home Minister and Chief of Defence Forces. The United States and China ambassadors to Malaysia, Edgar D. Kagan and Ouyang Yu Jing, respectively, attended the meeting as observers. The ceasefire arrangement also covers all forms of military operations, particularly attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure, with both sides pledging to avoid unprovoked firing and to refrain from increasing military forces along the border.
Thailand remains committed to continuing our engagement in a sincere and constructive manner based on the principles of good neighbourliness. I also hope that the Cambodian side will do the same.
Both sides remain committed to implementing the common understanding reached at the special meeting on 28 July 2025, including the ceasefire and formation of ASEAN Observer Team led by Malaysia to verify and ensure its implementation.
It was also agreed that an interim observer team made up of ASEAN defence attaches will be established to monitor the ceasefire, while awaiting the formation of the Malaysia-led ASEAN Observer Team. Meanwhile, Malaysia has agreed to convene the next GBC meeting in September to assess the progress of the ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia.
And the discussion held today reflect the shared understanding that ceasefire is not merely a pause, but a promise to protect lives, to uphold dignity, and to prevent further suffering. That promise must be honored through firm commitment, effective monitoring, and sincere political will from both sides.
Furthermore, the US has pledged to continue working with Malaysia as ASEAN chair, along with other member states, to ensure the regional bloc plays an effective role in uniting Thailand and Cambodia.
This is, I think, a further example of Malaysia playing its role as ASEAN chair and trying to bring the parties together. I think that everyone was very, very appreciative of the leadership that Malaysia has shown, including both the engagement of Prime Minister Anwar himself, his engagement at senior levels, but particularly the very hard work of Tan Sri General Nizam, the Malaysian Chief of Defence Force.
In a separate development, the Prime Minister said the 2026 budget will place emphasis on addressing floor and ceiling issues across various sectors and segments in line with the broader framework of the 13th Malaysia Plan tabled last month. The development strategy will also be designed to deliver comprehensive benefits to the people, not merely focusing on growth figures and investment numbers. Anwar explained that the upcoming budget will outline various programs aimed at addressing the issues faced by the public through a holistic approach.
Kalau kita bicara soal pertumbuhan dan pelaburan, tetapi tidak memikirkan soal lantai, jadi masalah. Kerana harga barang umpamanya, dia tidak susut, dia mesti naik sedikit. Dan kalau gaji itu naik setimpal atau berlebih, dia tidak akan menekan seperti mana yang dirasai oleh sebahagian daripada rakyat kita dengan kos sara hidup.
Several programs for the people will also be implemented through collaboration with non-governmental organizations, private companies and government investment corporations. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said 3 strategic sectors, the semiconductor industry, energy transition and the Islamic economy, have been identified as among the main focus areas of the government in its planning for the 2026 budget. The second Finance Minister added that the emphasis on these high-potential sectors is expected to boost the nation's competitiveness through more sustainable and high-value economic growth.
Kerajaan juga akan terus mengupayakan PMKS dan syarikat mula niaga agar menjadi pengeluar produk dan perkhidmatan made by Malaysia.
He said this at the 2026 budget engagement session, which was attended by nearly 300 representatives from the industrial sector, chambers of commerce, technocrats and economic experts. The 2026 budget is scheduled to be tabled in Parliament by the Prime Minister on October 10th. At the same event, Anwar expressed confidence that Malaysia's semiconductor industry would not be affected by Washington's plan to impose a 100% tariff on semiconductor imports. He noted that most semiconductor manufacturers in Malaysia are American firms that have already invested in the US.
Sebelum ini memang tidak dikenakan, dikecualikan. Tetapi kebanyakan syarikat-syarikat ini sebenarnya adalah syarikat yang dari Amerika atau syarikat sudah ada komitmen untuk meneruskan pelaburan dan production di Amerika Syarikat. Jadi saya fikir setakat ini tidak terkesan.
Anwar, however, said the government will continue to closely monitor the situation as it may affect companies like German tech giant Infineon, which produces semiconductor products in Malaysia. On Wednesday, President Donald Trump said the US will impose a tariff of about 100% on imports of semiconductors, but offered up a big exemption. It will not apply to companies that are manufacturing in the country or have committed to do so. For the record, Malaysia exported 119 billion ringgit worth of electrical and electronics E&E products to the US last year. This accounted for nearly 20% of the country's total E&E exports. Now, the government has undertaken several mitigation efforts following the announcement by US President Donald Trump. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz said these efforts include active engagements with US trade representatives to safeguard the interests of local exporters.
Kita akan memperjuangkan kepentingan pengeksport Malaysia agar sebarang perubahan dasar atau kriteria pengecualian dapat disampaikan serta dirunding lebih awal. dan supaya kedudukan Malaysia sebagai rakan dagang yang strategik sentiasa terpelihara.
Currently, Malaysia's semiconductor exports to the US remain exempt from retaliatory tariffs. However, if such measures are implemented, Malaysia risks losing a key market as its products may become less competitive. Meanwhile, analysts and industry players are confident that Malaysia can withstand the tariff shocks following the announcement. Their confidence is supported by ongoing efforts to diversify export markets and advance the development of higher value E&E products. Economist Muhammad Afzani Nizam Abdul Rashid believes the government has already laid the groundwork to cushion tariff shocks by emphasizing economic complexity and value creation in the recently tabled 13th Malaysia Plan.
We have seen Selangor and Penang is the leading states which continue to focus on creating the integrated circuit park, which obviously will continue to focusing on value creation in this respect. So while this is a very a long-term endeavor, and it may take some time to realize, perhaps this is the right move, obviously.
As for Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers President Tan Sri Sotian Lai, he noted that local industry players are open to setting up facilities in the US.
In response, some Malaysian companies are exploring the possibility of investing in the US to maintain market access. However, setting up operations abroad is a complex and resource-intensive undertaking that requires time, expertise, and strong institutional support.
The much-awaited Gig Workers Bill will be tabled for its first reading in the Dewan Rakyat next Thursday. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the second and third readings are slated for August 26, with hopes that the legislation will be passed before the end of the current Parliament session.
Disebutkan oleh Wabi Stevenson tadi, ya. Di negara kita terdapat 1.1 juta pekerja di dalam industri e-hailing dan juga freelancing dan perkhidmatan atas talian.
Zahid said this during the Sembang Santai Teh Tarik with Gig Industry Workers dialogue session held in the capital on Thursday alongside the Human Resources Minister. The proposed law is a significant step towards strengthening the gig economy by introducing a social protection framework for more than 1.12 million Malaysians currently active in the sector. In May, Human Resources Minister Stephen Sim said the bill was drafted following engagement sessions involving over 3,000 gig workers nationwide. Increased investments in data centers are expected to continue into 2026. This new wave of investments is set to create greater growth opportunities for the local construction and building material sector. According to research firm CGS International, this wave is being led by 5 major tenders for Pearl Computing's data center project, expected to be awarded as early as the current quarter. Meanwhile, a brand new project in Negeri Sembilan also has the potential to push the total number of tenders to at least 13 units. Johor remains the key focal point amid expectations of a surge in data center tenders. This comes on the back of several land acquisitions by Microsoft in 2023 and 2024 that have not yet been put up for tender. ITM Max system Berhad has secured its second smart parking concession in Selangor, this time from the Shah Alam City Council, MBSA. The company said on Thursday that its subsidiary, Cellmax Sendirian Berhad, had been appointed by MBSA as the operator for the Selangor Intelligent Parking System. Under the system, Cellmax will deploy, manage and operate all gazetted parking bays within MBSA's jurisdiction. The contract has a tenure of 10 years with an option for a 5-year extension. The contract will be executed under a revenue sharing model, with Cellmax entitled to 50% of revenue generated from parking fees and compound collections. Last Friday, ITM Max announced that it had secured a 10-year contract from the Subang Jaya City Council to operate and manage the smart parking system in the city. The Bank of England cut interest rates from 4.25% to 4% on Thursday as the central bank resumes a gradual and careful approach to lowering interest rates. The move marks its fifth cut in 12 months. The Monetary Policy Committee was initially split on reducing or holding interest rates, with 4 members wanting to hold rates, 4 others voting to cut, and 1 policymaker voting for a larger 50 basis point cut. The committee then held a second round of voting to arrive at a majority decision to cut rates by 25 basis points. Although the central bank voted to cut borrowing costs, it also raised the inflation forecast on the back of higher food prices. The bank predicted that the headline rate of inflation would hit 4% in September, up from a previous estimate of 3.75%.
Cities that inspire, connect and sustain. Putrajaya is more than a skyline. Discover how the city stays green, connected and investor-friendly as we explore Malaysia's blueprint for urban excellence. Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan speaks with CEO of Putrajaya Holdings, Sendirian Berhad, Dato Engineer Technologist Izwan Hasli Muhammad Ibrahim, only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Father charged with 6-year-old son's murder. This and more when we come back.
Cat Fashion Week. Miau menyala, gaya membara. Temui 8 finalis Cat Fashion Week. Eksklusif di Nona setiap Ahad 2 petang. Bersiaran di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Kita ni kadang-kadang mengutamakan orang lain je.
Apa kata kali ni masa untuk diri sendiri pula?
Pernah tak dengar menu walk?
Yang masak dalam kuali besar-besar tu ada nasi goreng, ada char kway teow dan pelbagai lagi.
Buli nampak seperti isu lama.
Tapi masih ramai yang menjadi mangsa. Di manakah penyelesaiannya?
Jangan pandang ringan pada asap tau.
Contohnya jerebu boleh jejaskan kesihatan.
Bila dah berumah tangga, mestilah mahukan pasangan selalu ada.
Kan dah janji untuk sehidup semati?
Semuanya di WHI TV3
dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headlines.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Menarik di nasi lemak kopi O sepanjang minggu ini.
Ibu ayah toksik jadi racun jiwa anak-anak. Apa punca dan bagaimana nak ubah?
Solusi resipi popia O Fish, hidangan ringkas kegemaran sesi keluarga.
Dan kisah kejiranan penuh kasih. Keluarga India mengasuh anak Melayu seperti darah daging sendiri.
Saksikan nasi lemak kopi O setiap Rabu hingga Jumaat.
Jam 10.30 pagi di TV9 dan juga stream di Tonton.
Nightline continues. An Ehaling driver has been charged at the Magistrates Court in Jelebu with the murder of his 6-year-old son. 36-year-old M. Arun Kumar nodded after the charge was read to him before the magistrate. No plea was recorded as murder cases fall under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The man is accused of killing the boy, A. Tishant, at kilometre 25 of Jalan Rompin Bahau in Jempol Negeri Sembilan between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on July 23rd. The court fixed September 10th for mention of the case and submission of the post-mortem report. It was earlier reported that the suspect had lodged a report on his son's disappearance in Johor Bahru on July 24th, claiming the boy had gone missing near a coffee shop in Taman Bukit Indah. He was later arrested to assist assist in investigations. 4 days later, police found the boy's remains buried in a secluded spot along a railway line on Jalan Rompin, with an autopsy revealing the victim had been strangled to death with cable ties. A housewife was charged at the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court on Thursday with the murder of her 7-month-old adopted daughter in July. 38-year-old Siti Subrina Imran nodded after the charge was read out before the magistrate, but no plea was recorded as the case falls under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The woman was accused of killing the baby at around 7 a.m. on July 30th at a condominium on Jalan Sri Permaisuri in Cheras. The court set October 13th for mention of the case. It was earlier reported that the baby died from a fractured skull, believed to be the result of prolonged abuse by the suspect over the past month. The suspect was believed to have acted out of frustration over the baby's persistent crying. Investigations revealed that the baby had been handed over to the married couple without identification papers. Acting Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Yusof Jan Muhammad said previously that authorities would connect with their Indonesian counterparts to identify the baby's biological mother to notify her of her child's death. The mother of the late Zara Khairina Mahathir handed over the teenager's mobile phone to police on Thursday. The phone, which contains an audio recording of a conversation between the two, was presented to the Karamunsing police station in Kota Kinabalu. Accompanied by her legal team and representatives from an NGO, 45-year-old Noraidah Lamat arrived at the station at around 4 p.m. The process was completed within 35 minutes. According to her lawyer, Hamid Ismail, the phone will be sent to the police's forensic lab in Cheras for further analysis. In addition to the phone, several of Zara's personal belongings, including the clothes she wore on the day of the incident, were handed over to police earlier this week. Her lawyer also confirmed that Noraidah has already had her statement recorded at DC Pitang District Police Headquarters to assist police investigations into the death of her 13-year-old daughter.
Sebenarnya semalam lagi handphone ni tidak diserahkan. Diorang minta, tapi memandangkan Ibu Zara telah diambil keterangannya lebih kurang 4 jam semalam di IPDC Pitang. Jadi untuk polis memberi peluang kepada dia untuk berehat dan datang ke sinilah untuk pagi hari ini.
For a short break, coming up next, Thai tycoon among dozens charged of a Bangkok building collapse. Stay with us.
Cat Fashion Week. Miau menyala, gaya membara. Temui 8 finalis Cat Fashion Week. Eksklusif di Nona setiap Ahad 2 petang. Bersiaran di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Tular mengenai perkahwinan jarak usia. Persoalannya, ada apa pada usia?
Carpal tunnel, tenis elbow dan sendi bahu terkeluar adalah masalah kesihatan tangan. Ketahui cara merawat.
Dan kini kanak-kanak dan remaja terdedah kepada stiker lucah dalam aplikasi telefon. Ibu ayah kena pantau ada anak.
Tanam di atas tanah bukan milik. Adakah hasil tanaman halal dimakan?
Dan ketahui cara penjimatan bil elektrik.
Isnin hingga Jumaat 10 pagi hanya di TV3.
Menarik di Nasi Lemak Kopi O sepanjang minggu ini.
Ibu ayah toksik jadi racun jiwa anak-anak. Apa punca dan bagaimana nak ubah?
Solusi resipi popia O-Fish, hidangan ringkas kegemaran sesi keluarga.
Dan kisah kejiranan penuh kasih. Keluarga India mengasuh anak Melayu seperti darah daging sendiri.
Saksikan Nasi Lemak Kopi O setiap Rabu hingga Jumaat.
Jam 10.30 pagi di TV9 dan juga stream di Tonton.
Ejen mata, kerja kita belum selesai.
Ejen-ejen muda kita dah sedia ke?
Ejen Ali musim ketiga kini ditonton. Woohoo! Aksi lagi padu, drama lagi gempak. Tengok bila-bila kat mana-mana, stream je. Ejen Ali musim ketiga sekarang ditonton.
Ya, itu yang sebaiknya.
Langgan lagi layan. Bertindak segera.
On to the foreign front. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said Israel intends to take control of the entire Gaza Strip but does not want to govern it. His comments came on Thursday, shortly before Israel's cabinet meets to consider his proposal to take over the Strip. Earlier, Zionist bombardments continued to escalate in Gaza, with at least 22 people killed in Israeli strikes. The casualties included 2 people killed in a strike on the Bani Suhaila municipality, east of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, in addition to 6 others who were killed earlier in separate attacks in the same area. At least 9 more aid seekers were reportedly killed by Israeli fire near 8 centers near Rafah. Thai prosecutors indicted 23 people and firms on Thursday in a case linked to the deadly collapse of a Bangkok high-rise in an earthquake. Thailand's Attorney General's office confirmed that the case has been submitted to a criminal court, with a decision expected within months. The indictment named 16 individuals and 7 firms, including an architectural firm and a Chinese construction company. Among those charged is Premchai Karnasutha, a leading Thai tycoon and executive director of the also indicted Italian Thai development company. The 30-story tower crumbled seconds after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Myanmar on March 28th, killing thousands in Thailand's war-torn neighbour. At least 5 people were killed after a cable on a suspension bridge snapped in northwestern China's Xinjiang region. Authorities on Thursday said the incident, which occurred Wednesday in a sightseeing area in the Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture, injured a further 24 people. The suspension bridge's cable reportedly snapped, causing the deck to tilt sharply, sending 29 people off the side. The scenic area has been closed while the incident is being investigated. Switching to sports now with some cycling news. A total of 22 teams are set to participate in the 29th edition of the Tour de Langkawi Cycling Tour, which will take place from September 28th to October 5th. Out of the total participants, 3 world teams, WT outfits and 8 pro teams have confirmed their participation in the 8-day race. They'll be joined by 10 continental teams, including 2 from Malaysia, Terengganu Cycling Team, TSG, and Malaysia Pro Cycling, as well as a national team from Malaysia. The 3 WT teams confirmed so far are XDS Astana team from Kazakhstan, Team Picnic Post NL from the Netherlands, and Cofidis from France. Although the 4 rider rosters for each team have yet to be finalized, the Langkawi Tour is still expected to captivate cycling fans with its intense competition and prominent status on the Asian circuit. This year's route spans 1,257.8 kilometers across all 12 Peninsular Malaysia states. On to football now. South Korean star Son HeungMin has completed a sensational move to Los Angeles FC, LAFC, on Wednesday in a record-breaking Major League Soccer transfer, ending his decade-long spell at Tottenham Hotspur. While both clubs withheld financial details, reports said LAFC paid $26.6 million for the 33-year-old forward. Son joined Spurs from Bayer Leverkusen in 2015 and this year led them to their first trophy in 17 years with a 1-0 win over Manchester United in the Europa League final. The former captain made 454 appearances, scored 173 goals and clinched the Premier League Golden Boot in the 2021-22 season. Well, that's it from us. Before we leave, let's take a look at Oman's stunning Dhofar Highlands, from the peaks of Shahad Mountain to the serene Wadi Darbat Lake. Natural gems now drawing global travelers. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.